Hey, Yugioh. I guess I could try it again. Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode 14, and this week we're going back to our regular store finally after the break and after the tournament in Linz, which was also really cool. Let's see how we can do this week at our regular store. So let's get to it! In game 1 I played against Invoked Heroes, which was actually a pretty cool deck, and I think I played pretty solid. I also won the game 2-1. I lost one of the games because I didn't quite know what to do, but overall I think I played pretty solid, so I'm pretty happy with how game 1 went. On to game 2. Game 2 I played against Burning Abyss, which was also a really interesting game. We both won one of the games, and then in round 3 it was pretty even. I was actually one turn away from doing an OTK, but I didn't look at the time and time ran out on his turn, and since he was playing Burning Abyss, he had a card that could do burn damage, and with that he did 900 burn damage and won the game in timeout. Unfortunate, but what can you do? I still think this game went pretty well, and if I would have managed my time better, I probably could have won it, but overall I'm not mad that I lost the game. So on to game 3. In round 1 he wins the dice war, so he goes first by playing Traptrix Memelio, which I negate with Ash Blossom. Then he links into Traptrix Sarah, sets 3 and passes to me. I start by playing Scrap Goblin, then using Foolish Burial to get a Crystron Rosenix in the graveyard, summon its token and then link into Scrap Wyvern, but he negates it with Infinite Impermanence. With that, Sarah's effect gets activated, he special summons Memelio and gets to set Gravedigger's Trap Hole. With Wyvern's effect negated, I attack and pass to him. He summons Dionea, trying to get back Memelio, but I activate Called, so he links into Sarah and passes to me. I try activating Wyvern, but he uses Dogmatica Punishment, gets Titanklite in the grave, and then destroys my monster and special summons Myrmeleon. He sets Bottomless Trap Hole to its effect. I normal summon Scrap Beast, attack Sarah, and then pass. In the end phase, Titanklite's effect gets activated, and he gets Ecclesia on his hand. He summons Ecclesia, gets further release, turns Myrmeleon to attack position, then attacks my beast and me directly for 1500. I normal summon Scrap Recycler, using its effect to get Jet Synchron in the grave. I then discard Mecha-Phantombeast O-Lion to get Jet Synchron back, but he activates Skydragon's Prism. This gets him my O-Lion, and he banishes O-Lion and Recycler. I get Jet Synchron and I have to pass to him. On his turn he has everything he needs. He gets a full board with 5 monsters, and I only have Jet Synchron to defend, so he attacks and wins round 1.
Round 2. Fight!
On round 2 I go first. I start by playing Scrap Recycle to get Crystron Rosenix in the grave. I special summon the token and then link my monsters into Scrap Wyvern. I try activating Wyvern's effect, to which he chains Ghost Ogre, but I have Called by the grave. When I try to special summon from the deck, he plays Ash Blossom, so he shuts me down. On his turn he just sets 1, to which I activate Twin Twisters, discard 1 and destroy it. On my turn I try activating Wyvern's effect, but he has another Ghost Ogre, so he destroys my Wyvern. I pass to him, but he passes right back to me. I check my grave, then I normal summon Scrap Recycler and search my deck for Mecha-Phantombeast O-Lion. I get the token and go into another Scrap Wyvern. When I try using its effect, he activates Impermanence. I try chaining Scrap Storm, but he also has another Ash Blossom and negates it. Wyvern stays in the field, so I attack him directly and pass to him. On his turn, he normal summons Mermelio, tries using its effect but I negate it with an Ash Blossom of my own. He attacks into my Wyvern and clears his board, then passes to me. I try using Wyvern's effect again, but he reveals Gamma and destroys Wyvern, so I special summon Pancratops, then I use Mind Control to get his Gamma. I try linking into Link 2, but I have no monsters that I can link into, so I attack his driver and in the end phase Gamma gets removed. On his turn he normal summons Mantis and gets Mermelio on his hand, he passes to me, I draw that again, so I attack over his monster with Pancratops and pass back to him. His turn again, so he normal summons Mermelia and gets a Gravedigger Strap Hole on his hand, he sets one card and then links into Sarah before passing back to me. Drawing that again, I just attack over his monster and pass back. On his turn he activates Forbidden Droplet, discarding one to half my monster's attack, then he summons Dionia and special summons Mantis. After that he exceed summons into Aldomeros. Detaching two materials, he special summons Mantis and he link summons into Sarah, which gets him a Floodgate Trap Hole that he sets. He then goes to battle phase and attacks over my monster and does some damage to me. A normal summons Scrap Chimera, to which he activates Floodgate Trap Hole, flipping it face down, activating Sarah's effect. This special summons him a Dionia and also gets Floodgate Trap Hole and Bottomless Trap Hole set on the field. On his turn, he turns Dionia to attack, destroys my monster and does some damage. In phase 2, he exceeds summons into Rafflesia, then passes to me. I draw that with just a Scrap Factory, so I surrender and he wins the game. Game 4 was actually the worst of the games in this week for me, because I bricked both games and I lost 0-2. In the first game I had 5 spell cards on the starting hand, I couldn't do anything and I kept drawing for 2 rounds and I still drew only trap or spell cards. So game 1 I didn't even see a single monster and no way to deal with that. And in the second one I only got tribute monsters or stuff that I could not summon, like Parallel Exceed without Link monster. So he won that game pretty straightforward in 2-0 and I didn't really have anything I could do against it, but these games happen sometimes. So on to game 5. In this game I go first, but I just set 2 and pass to him. He starts by playing Fossil Dig, which gets him an Oviraptor. After that he plays Foolish Burial, which gets him a Miscellaneous Sorrows in the grave, but I remove it with Called. Next he normal summons Oviraptor, which gets him Ultimate Conductor Tyranno on the hand. After that he activates Double Evolution Pill and special summons the Tyranno to the field. With this board he goes to battle phase and attacks me directly for 5300 damage before passing to me. I activate Mind Control to get his Tyranno, then I normal summon Ash Blossom to link into Scrap Wyvern. Alright, let's stop right here because everything I did here was wrong. Like, I am not allowed to special summon Scrap Wyvern without a Scrap monster. After this I actually used Scrap Wyvern's effect to get a monster from the deck, even though I didn't have a Scrap monster in the graveyard. And this kept going for the whole turn, but in the end luckily it didn't matter because he won the game in the next round. So let's go on to game 2.
Round 2. Fight!
In round 2 he decides I go first again, so I normal summon a Scrap Beast, set 1 and pass to him. He starts out by playing Foolish Burial, but I negate it with Ash Blossom. Then he tries special summoning Dino Wrestler Coelastilad, but I negate it with Solemn Warning. Next he normal summons Oviraptor and gets a Miscellaneous Soros in the grave. He then removes it and gets Baby Sarosaurus special summon to the field. He then goes to battle phase and destroys my monster, and in the end phase Baby Sarosaurus gets destroyed and special summons Stegosaur, which also gets him Pancratops to the hand. Back to my turn, I normal summon Scrap Chimera. This also special summons me back Scrap Beast. I link both of those monsters into Scrap Wyvern and then use Wyvern's effect. Wyvern summons Beast, destroys it, which gets me Chimera back to the hand, then special summons Golem from the deck, which then in turn special summons Beast to the field from the graveyard. Also, Wyvern's effect is used to destroy his Dino Wrestler. Next, I use Mind Control to get his Oviraptor and link into Crystron Hulky Fibrax. Hulky Fibrax effect is activated and he tries using Effect Wailer, but I negate it with Caught by the Grave. Hulky Fibrax effect special summons me Goblin, I then link into Appaloosa with my 2 link monsters and synchro into Borreload Savage Dragon with my other 2 monsters. With this board I go to battle phase, do some direct damage to him and then pass to him.
Approximately 27 negates later.
With this board I can negate almost everything he does, so he just scoops it up and I win the round. So let's go to round 3.
Round 3. Fight!
In round 3 he makes me go first again, and I actually have a pretty good hand, so I start by playing Scrap Factory and then Scrap Recycler, which gets me a Crystron Rosenix in the grave. I get the token and link both of these into Scrap Wyvern. Wyvern's effect gets activated and I get back a Recycler, which gets destroyed. This way both Factory and Wyvern trigger, I special summon Golem and Goblin. I then activate Golem's effect to get back Scrap Recycler on the field and use its effect. Scrap Recycle searches for Gizmek Orochi, I then remove the top 8 cards from my deck to special summon Gizmek Orochi afterwards. After that I link 2 cards into Hulky Fibrax, then I link Hulky Fibrax and Wyvern into Appaloosa. After that I synchro summon Golem and Goblin into Borreload Savage Dragon, and with that board I pass to him. After negating almost everything he had again, I normal summon Scrap Beast, get back Gizmek Orochi and then attack him for over 1000 to win the game. And that's it for this week. Still, we have a slightly negative record, but this week it could have gone either way. Honestly, it was just one small thing that I lost the game for. I think in all the games I went pretty well overall, except for the one where I played terribly with all the illegal stuff that I said earlier. But he still won that game, so it wasn't too big of a deal, but this stuff should just never happen. The deck, though, it improved greatly with just adding Borreload Savage, and my goal is to play more towards those cards and not always go into Scrap Twin Dragon, for example, because I can play on the opponent's turn negating stuff as well, and Borreload Savage Dragon and Appaloosa really helped me a great deal. And Scrap Twin Dragon also has its uses, especially if I want to go into True King of Our Calamities or stuff like this. And also in itself, it's a pretty strong card, but it depends on the situation and should not just be played whenever, which I finally realized and which I will implement in my gameplay for the future. That's almost it for this week. Actually, as we went back to our regular store, David was back there again, and after the tournament he decided he wanted to sponsor me again, and so I got a tin of Lost Memories from him. So here is the box opening for that, and thank you again, David, for sponsoring this. It was great fun. And there you have it, the tin opening. Thank you again, David, for sponsoring it. I really enjoyed opening all those packs. That's it for this week. There will be no episode next week because I have to go to an event where I have to work next weekend. But hopefully in 2 weeks I can get back to my regular store and play some more games now that it's starting to look better for me. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell button to get a notification whenever I put out a new video. Usually Yu-Gi-Oh videos come out Monday, sometimes Tuesday when I don't make it in time with editing. And if you have any feedback or if you have any tips for the deck or for gameplay in general, feel free to tell me in the comments down below. I will get to any comment as far as I can. That's it for this week, and until next time, have a nice day!